In today's video, I've got Nurse Shomi with me, who is a renowned midwife originally from Nigeria, currently practicing as a registered midwife in the United Kingdom. She's going to share with us about how she self-sponsored herself to rise a OSCE in the UK. This is Josephine Greatness. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If today is the first time we are meeting, nice meeting you. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit on the notification bell so that you don't miss any of my videos. Now, Showomi is here to, tell us how she did her self-sponsorship into the UK to get her NMC pin. Because most of you, my lovely viewers, have been popping me messages on my social media handles into my email asking information about how you guys can sponsor yourself into the UK to get your OSCE done. And so being getting your pin, your NMC UK pin, so that you can, easily get your job. So today I've got Nurse Showomi, who out of her busy schedules has accepted to, share how she went about her process of self-sponsoring. So over to you, Nurse Showomi. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you very much. I am grateful for your time. Over to you, Nurse Showomi. Kindly introduce yourself to our viewers.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for inviting me, Josephine. My name is Showomi Mary. I'm a registered midwife here in the UK. I also have a YouTube channel at Showomi O'Clock, and she has invited me here to come and have a discussion about self-sponsoring, and that's why we are here. Thank you for inviting me.
Guys, Nurse Showomi is a YouTuber as well, so I'm going to leave her YouTube channel link in the description section below. Don't forget to visit her channel. She's got lovely and informative videos on her channel. Her channel was one of the channels I used when I was going through my migration process. So guys, head on to her channel, subscribe to her channel, and you get lots of information. Okay.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much, Nurse Showomi, for honoring this invitation. Guys, Nurse Showomi has been a mentor. I would say she's been my mentor when I was back home going through the whole migration process. She's amazing. There were days where she will, give us time, get onto the phone and teach us for our CBT. God bless you so much. And today she's here again with us. Okay. So let's go straight into the video. So Nurse Showomi, my first question is, why did you choose the self-sponsorship route to, in your migration process?
Yeah, so in 2019, when I started my migration process, there was not a lot of information about, midwives migrating. I didn't really know. Everyone around me were nurses. Either they were nurses and they have their RN and they were migrating to the UK as nurses. Mm-hmm. So starting the process, I always went to the, Nursing and Midwifery Council site to read, and I always see that they wrote nursing and midwives, nurses and midwives. Yeah. So even though I didn't know anyone that traveled as a midwife, yeah, I started the process because also I had my uncle in the UK, okay, and they were also supporting me throughout the process. Okay. So when I did my IELTS, I passed. I did my CBT, I passed. Then I started applying. Wow. So my uncle were quite keen for me to come to the UK that year. So even though I was applying, after I passed my CBT in August 2019, and by October, they were like, you know what? Just come. You have an accommodation. So what people were saying, once you get your PIN, it increases your chances of getting the job like 100%, and they didn't want to hold back. 100%. So they encouraged up to, let's say, 99.9, basically, because in the UK, a lot of people, a lot of organizations actually need midwives. They are quite short-staffed, like we know. The staffing number is always here and there. So if they see someone that has passed their OSCE, it's just for you to, once you pass your OSCE, you have your PIN, and then you present to them. So it's actually more beneficial to them that you've passed your OSCE, because now they don't need to start training you for your OSCE and all of that. You just go straight to, being inducted into the system. Yeah. So that's how the self-sponsor came about.
Okay. So that means that basically the main reason was to increase your susceptibility of getting a job.
Yes.
But it's much quicker to get job offers with a PIN than
Yeah.
you are not yet having the PIN. Okay. Okay, lovely. So how did you go about the whole process? I mean, in terms of visa application, that what type of visa did you apply for? That because from your first answer, I've seen that you had already finished with your IELTS, you had already passed your CBT. So that put aside. Now, about the OSCE, how you sponsored yourself for the OSCE, how you got here and all that. Can you help us with that?
Okay. So the first thing we did was to find out the information, if you're going to write the OSCE, what visa was I going to need?
Yeah.
So then there was something called the short-term study visa, which
Sure.
was what I used for that it would give a 6 months visa, but it was scrapped like almost after I left the country. So now people that are trying to write their OSCE, they need to apply for visitors visa like normal. So because that's what the doctors also use when they want to come to write their PLAB exams.
Okay.
So nurses and midwives would also need to apply for the for the study visa. Did I say study visa? Nurses and midwives would have to apply for visiting visa, because that way you're telling the consulate that I'm coming to your country to visit your country to write my exams. That's your main purpose of exam of visit. So what I did was we had to pay for the OSCE first.
Mm-hmm.
We paid for the OSCE first. Then we started looking at the visa requirements. Although I started it myself, but I wasn't confident to continue with the process myself. So I used a visa advisor. So the person was like, okay, they've done this before. I think this is what you need to add. This is what you need to move ahead with. And I felt very confident with the person, because I didn't want us to apply for the visa and then get denied. And because you see people, even after applying for the visa, even after paying for their OSCE, they have chances of being denied, because it depends on how strong your application is, basically. So that's why I used a visa advisor, and it went on at the first time.
Okay, so what documents did you use, and what did he, if you don't mind sharing, if you're happy sharing it with my viewers, what were some of the advices he gave you to make your application stronger, to get your visa accepted?
Yeah, so some of the information I used was, number one, my uncle and my aunt's information that were in the UK, because they're British citizens. So for me to say, oh, these people are the people inviting me and they're going to be sponsoring me, or they are the people that I'm going to be staying with at the time of my visit. Because if you want to apply for a visiting visa without knowing anyone, you have to have enough money to sponsor yourself, to show that you can sustain your living while in this country. You can, support yourself. So if you're going to be paying for accommodation, you have to have enough money to be able to pay for your accommodation for the time where you will be in the country. So when I applied for 6 weeks. I stated I was only going to be in the UK for 6 weeks, because the exam is just one day.
Yeah.
So you can't say you'll be in the UK for 6 months. And the reason why I said I was going to be in the country for 6 weeks was because I was going to prepare for my exam for 1 month. After 1 month, I write my exam. If peradventure I didn't pass the exam, I was going to retake my exam. So all these things were things I wrote in the visa application. So that, because they can as well say, why are you staying for 6 weeks? You're not going to go back to your own country. Do you understand? So I put that in. Then I had some of the information from my aunt. She gave me a passport page to show she pays council tax, to confirm the address that I'm going to. But if you don't have where you're going to, you can also pay for your accommodation, maybe with Airbnb, booking reservation or something like that, to just show that this is where you're going to. And when you get there, you already have something, somewhere to stay in. And another thing I didn't know about was the employer reference. That was one thing I didn't know about. And I think one of the person I know that got denied was one of the reasons why the person got denied. Because the employer reference was for me to state that I have something tangible doing in my own country. So even if you are not working at the moment, you can show ties. It's just like normal visa applications where you have to show that you have something you're doing in your own country, and when you go to their country, you're not going to abscond.
Yeah.
Do you understand? You have
Go back
something
to whatever you
holding
were
you
doing.
back.
Yeah.
Yes, because
Yeah.
whenever you travel, especially on a visit visa, you can't swap your visas in country. You have
Yeah.
to come back to your own country to reapply if you get a job.
Yeah.
So it's the visa application process itself is the most delicate
Yeah.
process of
Yeah.
this whole
Thank you.
self-sponsored
Yeah.
thing. And that's why I advise people that if you can afford using a visa advisor, just please go ahead and use it, because the money, the emotions that you're going to be investing in this, it's a lot already.
A lot, yeah. So to my viewers in Nigeria, Neshomi is from Nigeria originally, and I don't know, but we'll try to share the visa advisor that she used details with you. If you need it, you can pop it in the comment section below, and we'll get it for you so that that person can also help you. And yeah, so those from the other countries, I think you would have to look for a very an authentic visa advisor to help you through your visa.
Yeah, I think it depends. Even depend. It doesn't matter where you're from. You
Yeah,
can actually make use of, any visa advisor. This, although the person I used is no longer available, but I have someone that I've been recommending to other people, and she's been getting even people from Ghana's,
lovely.
going through us. So I'm really confident. She knows what she's doing. She's
Yeah.
very competent. So
Because if you
that's
go
why I
and
said.
say to somebody who doesn't know what he's doing, you just be throwing away money. Yeah.
And also, you just need to follow instructions. Basically, when they asked me to get my employer's reference, I was really skeptical because it took me a lot of process,
Okay.
especially working with the government, having to go to the government office to get the, resigning properly. It was just a lot. But if you are able to do it, especially if you have a leave, like if you've taken your annual leave, your employer can state that I know that this person is going for a leave and she's going to come back. And also, you can print your bank statement to show that you're getting money from somewhere or you are earning money, to just prepare all the information. They might not have a look at everything and they might just need more information. So we just need to make sure the application is solid before you go ahead with it.
Okay. So that means that even before you apply, you do the visa application, you should have accommodation already sorted out. So that's that evidence, or you add all those evidences to your visa application, right?
Yes,
Okay.
I would strongly advise. And it's cheaper if you have someone that is already in the UK. It's really, really cheaper if you already have someone that is in the UK. But you can also just go through the visa advisor. If the visa advisor says, okay, since you don't have someone, that's no problem. They can, write the support that once you get the visa, you're going to get extra accommodation, or maybe you pay for 2 days or 3 days, prior. I don't know how it's going to go because I had to stay with my aunt, and then I didn't have any issues with accommodation. I just had to use their address and say, this is where I'm going to, this is where I'm going to be.
Okay. So my next question, to those who have people or family or friends in the UK who is going to sponsor them with accommodation and all that, do they still need bank statements to buffer their visa application?
Yes, I think that you should. I didn't have a particular amount in my bank account, but I was advised to use my bank statement to just see how much is coming into my account and how much is going out. You understand? Because when they ask you that, how are you going to support yourself? You might just say that, okay, I'm going to have £100, to support myself while coming, and also my aunt would be responsible for your feeding, your accommodation, and upkeep. So it just so depends on your situation. It's very, very particular to different situations.
So that means that if you don't have anybody, then you need a lot of money in your account to prove that you can take care of
Yes, it's going to amount to that. It's going to amount to that.
it. Okay. And I'm sure you spoke about B&B. If you have a particular B&B link that we can share with the viewers, I would love to pop it into the description section. But I know,
Mm.
right, every information, there are lots of information online. You can just go online and then check B&B. That's bed and breakfast, right? And you get, if you don't have, anybody in the UK who's going to sponsor you with accommodation and all that, you can just check and book your accommodation and then use that for your visa application. Thank you, Neshomi. So that was my next question. How did you sort out your accommodation? But then you've answered it in the previous one. You were with your uncle and all that. So will you say that it's expensive to self-sponsor yourself than to hold on get sponsorship from the trusts, NHS trust or care home or whoever is sponsoring, how will you compare and contrast the two?
Of course, it's more expensive because you are spending from your pockets to do all of this. You pay for your flight ticket. If you're paying for your accommodation, you're paying for your accommodation. And if you're coming back to the country also, you will still have to pay for everything that you need. So it's quite expensive. But with a lot of people trying to migrate and the migration information changing or policies changing every time, it's a little bit a safer option. Do you understand? There's no simple option. I tell people, if you can try as much as you can, maybe to get someone to write your supporting or support you, review your supporting information, help you. I know a lot of people coming to me and say, oh, they just want to come and self-sponsor themselves without writing their CBT. I really think what I tell them is that you can also do that, because according to your authorization of mail or your authorization of test, it will tell you that you can do anyone without sequence. So but I just feel like it's safe for you to have all the things that you need to get the job in place, so that when you come to the UK, apart from you writing and passing your OSCE exam, you should also be trying to look out for jobs before you leave the UK, because that's what I did. And when I came to the UK, I did my exam. After I passed my exam, I started applying for jobs. Then I was able to even call them. I called the hospital directly to say, I've seen your vacancy and I've applied before, but I'm now in the UK. I don't know if you're happy to book me in for like an interview and they asked me, okay, just reapply and let's get you to get you an interview date. So I got an interview date. I went there physically.
Wow.
Yeah, rather than virtually like it always used to be. So when they physically, we did the interview, and the next day they told me that, okay, we are pleased with the interview. We are going to employ you. Although we got stopped a little bit at the HR place because they couldn't understand why I was on a temporary visa. You understand? But I think now everyone is having more knowledge because they are employing loads and loads of,
midwife.
International midwife. And when you see some of the vacancies, they will say international midwives with PIN.
Yeah, with PIN. Wow. So now they've realized that people are self-sponsoring themselves. So they want such. Okay.
That's so sometimes you see international midwife with PIN. Sometimes they will say international midwives already living in the UK. Do you understand? Okay. So it just so depends on what, you just have to be focused on and know what your options are. Because coming to the UK, getting your PIN increases your chance over 98% of getting a job. You see, most midwives will say, I don't have a job. Wherever you go, you find vacancies. It just depends on what you want, where you want to be, and your options can be really opened. But you have to come back to your own country. That's the most important way to get your visa sorted. Yeah.
Okay. So even though the self-sponsorship is expensive, it is also the best option because it makes your the job hunts and everything much more easier than staying back home and looking for certificates of sponsorship to come over. So guys, that is certified. Even though self-sponsorship is expensive, it increases your chances 99, I'll say 0.9% of getting a job offer quickly. All right. So show me, there's this question that just popped up. I think I should have asked before this previous one that I asked. How soon did you get a decision on your visa application?
How soon did I what?
How soon did the Home Office make a decision on your visa application to come write your OSCE?
It wasn't a lot of time. As at then, it was COVID time, so not too many people were applying to travel out of the country. So I think less than 10 working days was less than 10 working days was when the decision came out for me to get stay.
I'm beginning to feel or think that maybe the Home Office may not really consider your exam dates into making a decision for you to get into the country. So if, let's say, for example, you have your test on 30th of September, when should you apply for your visa and when do you expect to get it? I don't know if you have information about what is happening currently. If it's still within 10 to 12 working days, that's such.
So what I advise people is that before you start, once you've booked your examination, you understand, once you booked your examination, you start the visa process. Once you are ready and you think is too close, because the exam center will give you at least 3 weeks to reschedule your exam.
Yeah.
I think when I first booked the test, I had to reschedule to to a much more further date. Do you understand? Because of the visa process.
Okay.
So not before I applied to the before I completed my application for the visa to apply for the visa. I just picked a date that was, I think it was a month apart. I was supposed to do the exam in December. Then by November, I had not finished the application. So I was just like, okay, I'm just going to move it to January. Do you understand? So I moved it to January, and I knew that it was going to give me an ample time to apply for my visa. So
okay, that's great. Thank you very much. So guys, whatever you are doing, just keep calculating your date. Don't go, choosing a date and then later on you lose your money. Because if you don't show up for your OSCE exam and you don't fall in that 3 weeks, within that 3 weeks of rescheduling your exam, you will lose your application fee. There is not going to be any refund made to you.
And even before the 3 weeks, you can always have a refund if it's before the 3 weeks, you can always have a refund. So all these things is what you have put into consideration before choosing the date. Because when you want to apply, you might just ask, is there any dates for this time? Although they might tell you that this is the available dates, you can just tell them, please, is there any dates for this month? How can I get a date for this month? So they might give you the options of, oh, we don't have a date for this time. We can push it further. So that's just going to determine how quickly you make the decision. And when you want to pay for your exams, just know that if it's this route that you want to pass, this is actually the routes that you want to go through. Do you understand? And I wish everybody the best. Migrating is becoming more difficult every day. A lot of informations, red lists, red list countries, all of that. But you still see people that are migrating, even with the red listing, you still see people migrating. So it's just for us to try. There's no simple way to it, sincerely speaking. Some people feel that the self-sponsor is the easiest way to, just go. It's not the easiest way. You can only try. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Because now the OSCE exams is even changing. Now you have to prepare for your
OSCE. It's becoming overwhelming. Seriously.
Yeah, you have to prepare for your OSCE exam by yourself. So all these things is also what people should take into consideration before, deciding to. I know how panicked I was when I was preparing for my OSCE exam, because I didn't have anyone to train me. I was just watching videos.
I wanted to ask you.
I was just watching videos, and the person that wanted to help me was down with COVID and her children. So I couldn't really get a lot of support from other people. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So, but now we have a lot of YouTube channels that are even centered towards OSCE training. I know a friend of mine is helping people out with, OSCE training.
How the whole thing is going. I've started helping people out with OSCE training because, I have this YouTube channel is making people get in touch with me and stuff. And most of them go and they come back with resets and stuff. So I just decided to, help people with the OSCE training with a little time that I have. If I have time, fine, I can go ahead to help. Yeah. So next, show me. You wrote your exam. Did you get the results? I mean, you stayed in the country, got your OSCE results before you went back home, right?
I waited to have my PIN too.
Wow.
I got a job.
You got a job before you went back home?
Yes. I stayed, I think I came in December and I left in March. So I stayed up to 3 months because your visa is actually valid for 6 months.
6 months.
I stayed up to 3 months, got my PIN, did my exam, got my PIN, and got a job before I left the country.
That's wonderful. Guys, you see the strategy. So it's kind of best if you have somebody sponsoring you accommodation. If you can't afford 3 months accommodation, that's if you don't have anybody, then maybe you would have to,
to go back here and just follow through from your own country.
From your home country. But then it's a sure deal that when you have the PIN, it's better to get a job quicker than not with a PIN. So I encourage anybody. Sometimes I didn't go through the self-sponsorship process. And so my process was quite, lengthy because I had to be patient, get job offers, those who were willing to help me with my OSCE and sponsor me into the country. So when I get people who are, I want to self-sponsor and stuff, I don't really know what to say and what not to say. But today, Neshomi has given us the information that we need. So if you are considering self-sponsoring, know that it's also a sure way to, the migration process. And it's I think it's, should I say it's the best? It's short.
No, don't say it's the best. It's one of the ways.
It's shorter. It's shorter and quicker. It's shorter and quicker. So, Neshomi, do you have anything that I have not asked about? Something that you want to add on to? Yeah.
I will just tell people to be patient. Explore your options as much as you can.
Okay.
If you have the chance to explore your options, if you're able to, for example, if you think you have been having rejection, just look introspectively. Why am I not getting, response from these people? Why is my application not going further? You understand? Just look introspectively before you make a leap, because all these things, going to the UK to write your exams, it increases your chances by 99%. But if you don't put in the effort again, it might just, it might not be as good enough. You just still need to put that effort in. And I wish you all the best in all your endeavors. That was the process I went through, and it was good for me. That, I got the job and all of that. So please just be patient, and also just seek information as much as you can. And
I think if you are self-sponsoring, guys, you should know that it's not just about getting a visit visa and coming to the country. That visit visa is for an exam. So make sure you get yourself well prepared for the exam. Don't come and then, your focus is on, I'm going to the UK, I'm going to write OSCE, and you come unprepared. You may have to do a reset. Even if you get prepared and you have to do a reset, don't be too hard on yourself. You did your best. NMC UK does very well in giving feedback on why you are going to reset. So whatever the reset is, you can have a feedback on that. Go back, read, go back again, do it, and you get your PIN. Come back into your country and then get your job and come into the UK. Now, show me, that reminds me, sorry, after your final race, I've remembered a question. Those of us that get sponsorship from the trust to come into the country, most of the times we are refunded our processes, our visa, our flights, our CBT, IELTS. Did you get a refund even though you had your PIN already?
So I didn't get a refund because I started, my band pay was from band 5. From the first day I got the job. So I was being paid, I was being paid band 5 salary, even though I was working supernumerary. So I think the money that they're going to pay for your OSCE and for your CBT, if you also calculate the pay, maybe you were being paid band 3 or band 4, at the end of the day, kind of equalizes. Although that was not what they told me when I was going, because I asked them, I was like, oh, they told me that they were going to give me a refund of it. But as time goes on, when we started processing the refund, I got to know that, oh, it's because you were being paid band 5 and then you cannot be refunded. But some other trust might refund. It just depends on what trust you're going with.
What your conditional letter states.
Okay. Yes. I just assumed. My conditional letter just stated that they were going to pay for my flights, which they did.
Okay.
It stated that they were going to pay for my flights, which they did. And what else? Accommodation when I got to the UK. And that was exactly what they did. Nothing more.
So it just depends on what the trust is happy to give.
Yeah.
If they're happy to refund everything, I'm sure they will. They will. Okay. Then show me. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Now I have information for you guys. Self-sponsoring people. If you know anybody that is, self-sponsoring, you can share the video with the person. I'm going to leave the description. Neshumi is a YouTuber. Please, guys, how could I have forgotten this? I'm going to leave her YouTube link in the description section below. Please go and worry her. Those who are self-sponsoring, information. Go and worry her. Subscribe to her channel. Put on the notification bell so that any video that she pops up, you get a notification, you watch it. She's got good information there for you guys. Go there and you get everything that you need in this migration process. And to my return subscribers, thank you so much for always coming back to watch my videos. If today is the first time we are meeting, it's Josephine Greatness. Nice meeting you. Subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell so that you don't miss any of my videos. Until we meet next time, Neshomi, thank you so much. I'm sure she'll be popping in as and when she gets the time to give us more info on other topics that pops up. Bless you guys. And until we meet next time in my next video, take care and bye.